Welcome back to the World Crazyhouse Championship round of 16. Today we're covering xuanet against Atrophied, and I was actually planning on covering the Sexy and I Know It against Chicken Crossroad match around this time, about half an hour ago actually, but Chicken Crossroad has simply failed to show up. He's missing in action, so instead I'm hopping into this Atrophied and xuanet match, which has actually been bumped up the schedule a bit, it seems. So anyway, here we are. Let's delve into the position a little bit. Looks like this has come out of the French. E4, E6, D4, A6. Okay, so maybe not quite a French. A6, B5. Ah, yes, that St. George setup. Atrophied down the clock a little bit. Atrophied is actually on the lower end of the normal range of his rating, around 2400. He's normally a little bit higher than that, right? And xuanet, of course, in the mid-2500s. It's pretty normal. White has one more piece in hand. But, yeah, actually, I like black here. Black's, I believe, up material. And he's going to get a lot of tempo. He's going to win even more material. He's got an open bishop. And lots of minor pieces on the king side. He's quite safe. Should be picking off this knight on h5 very shortly, and then he'll consolidate and then start progressing and probably lay that put that knight back on the board on the king side. And yeah, I think black's winning here. He's also up on the clock by close to 2 minutes. So Atrophied sacks on g7, a little bit of a desperation sack, it looks like. I think that can be taken. He elects to take the queen and the knight. If knight takes g5, the queen covers that square. The queen will pop out and cover a lot of territory on the king side. Atrophied trying to put some pawns in the dark squares, looking at f6 for a piece or pawn drop in the future. xuanet disregards that and moves forward with his own attack at f3, coming in on the light squares. Knight at h3 doesn't work now because that bishop covers g2, the mating square. Maybe a knight at f4. He decides to take on g2 first. Replace that pawn at f3. Now a piece is going to come on to f6. It's probably going to be taken by the bishop and then sidesteps. That's my prediction. Because I don't see a forced mate if queen takes, knight takes. I don't see a forced mate. He is going to take that, but now he has to watch out for knight at h5. Maybe he'll just put a queen on g6 and stay safe. Because knight at here doesn't do much. That can be taken. And he doesn't have a rook or anything in hand to place on h1 afterward. What is this? Is there some kind of weird smother mate I'm missing? King takes, he'll take with the pawn. Bishop takes, knight on. Okay, he's got a pawn here, winning the rook. Nicely done. But I'm not sure if it's actually mate. Rook takes. The king can't escape up here, perhaps, because bishop on that could be blocked, but Atrophied instead elects to hop up to g2. And now xuanet is looking for mate. Bishop at f3, and the knight comes on. Very nice. Nice find from xuanet. He probably had that calculated out from a few moves beforehand. So first game to xuanet with the black pieces. I think that was the first game anyway. Making sure everything's up and running. Looks like it. So we're gonna get the St. George from Atrophied as well. Huh. Okay. Saying anything you can do, I can do better. Is that normally taken with an early a4? I thought better would be just to push past and establish this pawn on b4, preventing the knight to coming out, that normal development to c3, but Atrophied instead takes that pawn and allows the rook some life. Okay. White's got a big center here, and black is playing in hypermodern style. So normally this would drive the knight away from the defense of the d4 square, But the rook has been, because it's been activated, defends that square nicely. It's actually nicely placed on this fourth rank because it controls all this central area and can't even be chased away so easily. Okay, so if knight takes g4, bishop takes e7. I don't think there's any intermezzo here, so just queen takes e7 I'm expecting, followed by queen takes g4, and then the queen will be on g7. So now Atrophied is going to have to... f5. Huh. Okay, I like that. That can't be taken, I don't think, because that would open up the queen's discovery and win the queen. It's a nice move, if it works, and I do think it works. The queen just hops back to g3. The point here is that removing this pawn allowed the queen access to this square, so that could no longer be taken. So it's a tempo gaining move. Very nice. He could castle queenside here, or he could try to develop some sort of attack. Knight at h5 doesn't seem to do much. Bishop at h4 puts a piece on the board, but again doesn't seem to do that much. Atrophied taking his time here at a pivotal moment in this game. The c7 pawn is under observation from this queen on g3, something I failed to appreciate a moment ago. So he's figuring out whether he wants to perhaps castle queenside to defend that, but then there's that's castling queenside is probably too dangerous. Then there's knight drops here to always be on the lookout for with this queen on this nice diagonal. So bishop at a5, is that going to be taken? Take on a5 and take on c7 perhaps. Then that rook could be dropped on the back or the first rank. It might be a little bit uncomfortable. He could just block that check note. Okay, so he does go down this line. I'm expecting rook at c1. He's just going to block that off, and Atrophied picks off the knight, as does xuanet. And now castles kingside. Very interesting. Black does have some dynamic compensation, I think, for the material. He's got this rook, which should always be opened up along the f-file, should these pawns ever be exchanged. And this bishop also could be opened up should those pawns ever be exchanged. So black's active. White castles. Yeah, that's going to drop the e4 pawn. At e5 comes on, driving the queen away. Perhaps I could even be sad, like Atrophied's probably calculating right now. E takes d3. He goes for it. And now is there any sort of nastiness on g2? There must be. So after bishop takes f1, I'm expecting what is... yeah, bishop takes f1 would be mated with a knight at h3 smother. So king takes, and now d takes e2. Very nice find from Atrophied. Is d takes e2 enough? Probably. My intuition says probably. Maybe rook at h1 first. Yeah, Nick Howell suspects that there's mate, and I don't disagree. Bishop at f3, of course, is supported by both this bishop and this rook, which have both been opened up, as I was predicting, with this xuanet dropping this very crucial e4 pawn. King steps up to c4. There, yeah, Atrophied has far too many pieces in hand to let him get away here. King up to c5. There must be mate. Rook at c6, mate. 1-1. Black pieces have won both times. Very nice. Tied up. And into the third game we go. e4, e5. Alright, gonna get some interesting e4, e5 lines. And by interesting, I mean highly theoretical. Bishop e7, okay, that's xuanet's preferred modus operandi. The bishop e7 as opposed to bishop c5. Knight comes to e5. This is all theory, of course. d5. Normally something like d6 is played. d5 is a little bit more active. Okay. Pawn at h3. And now pawn at f4, claiming a big center. And driving the knight away. Nope, knight does not move yet. Bishop at g4, intermezzo. Although he could even sack the queen. He could take on f5 and get two pieces for the queen. Decides to block it instead. Knight gets rid of that bishop, which was on the f7 square. That's a nice bishop to get rid of. And now, time to recess a bit. Nope, bishop comes on to c4 immediately. Now looking at the knight on d5, in addition to this the center, not the center, but the pawn on e2 move, which would sever the queen's coordination with this knight, which would be hanging. So that's a nice move, bishop at c4. You've got these very nice crisscrossing bishops on the light squares, plus this pawn, so it's looking dangerous. Xuanet has a good position, and I think he's coming out of the opening a little bit ahead here. Queen d4, centralizing the queen. And, okay, so he's allowing this knight to drop with the idea of taking on g7, I imagine. Minor pieces are exchanged in the center. This knight comes on to f5, attacking the queen and simultaneously defending g7. Pawn at b5. That's curious. Alright, black gives away a few pawns in order to get safely castled with the king side, and now white can't really try to capture anything more on the queen side, because then this will drop and there will be mate on d1, and white's I was going to say white's king side is going to be collapsing, but yeah, this is nice. This knight was hanging, and this bishop at d3 blocks off the queen's file, and also has a nice battery. So nice move, bishop at d3 from Atrophied. Xuanet throwing in his own interference move, pawn at e4. He wants to exchange a few times on e4, and then he'll be able to get some tempo on the queen. It's a nice move. So what moves are white considering here? What moves is white considering here? I don't know. It's tough to come up with a good move. Knight at d5 is possible, I suppose. Maybe a knight on a square attacking the f3 bishop. You don't really want to move your bishop on d3. That's going to give away a lot of tempo, I feel. So yeah, knight at d5 is played. So now this knight looks at both e7 and f6, but it drops. Yeah, the important point here, the nuance which is saving the position, I think, is if the queen trade comes, this bishop is defending f7. Well, black also has this bishop covering f6, so there are no knight smothers to be worried about. And now black is going to be able to, yeah, that's mate in one. Very nice. Xuanet claims a 2-1 lead. And I think black has won every single game so far. Atrophied must have been studying this, or preparing this bishop b7 stuff. d5, okay, so I guess at the end of the line you can take on b5. Yeah, takes. Now bishop at b5 is the idea, and you can pick up this bishop. Not sure whether or not Atrophied actually wanted to allow that. But he's able to reestablish his bishop on this diagonal with tempo. So if the queen moves, this bishop is going to be awfully nice, bearing down on white's king side. Alright. Maybe there's even a queen sack in the air on f7, although it might be a little bit premature. Takes, knight into g5. King can't step back here. That's mate on f7. He is going to go for it. But yeah. He couldn't step back to e7 or e8 because of a pawn drop and a bishop drop on these light squares, which would lead to mate. And now there is a mating net. Look how nicely this rook cuts off the king. And now, yeah, this is going to be mate. I have no doubt. Because the bishop covers the knight. There's a okay, king steps back and then g4 or at g4. Bishop at g4 now. Pawn at g3 is going to mate. A quick game there from Xuanet, winning with the white pieces for the first time. 3-1 Xuanet. And remember, this is best of 10, so first to 6 by 2. Xuanet now 3 games away. Xuanet going for an early d5, the center counter, or Scandinavian. Alright, this is all pretty standard stuff, pretty standard fare for the Scandinavian type positions. The xuanet electing to bring his queen out to h5. There are options of d6 or h5 or d8, as in chess. Any one of those is playable. The nice thing about this queen h5 move that xuanet has played is that it covers a lot of territory here and can always swing over to the king side, which is why Atrophied has played this nice b5 move to block that queen off and made it a rather silly looking piece there on a5. And it'll take some time to reroute it. a3, trying to take here and attack this queen and prove that it's misplaced on a5. So how do you both defend this pawn and get the queen out of dodge? Nice move there. c5, opening up the c7 square for the queen. Giving away pawn to liberate the queen. Atrophied up on the clock for what I think is the first time this match. We only have 7 spectators, which is a little bit surprising for a match of this caliber. Maybe we should have done a better job advertising these round of 16 matches, because these are very, very entertaining matchups and are producing some very high quality Crazy House. I wonder if Sexy is playing now. Sexy and Chicken Crossroad. Yeah, they are. Okay, well that's a bit of a bummer, but I'll stick with this match since the Sexy and I Know It and Chicken Crossroad match got started late. I don't want to participate in this match midway through. Okay, so I think black is equalized out of this opening. And sack on h7 comes in, opening up the queen. And now, as soon as I say black is equalized, white gets some very nice, very dangerous activity. So maybe it's not the case that black is actually equalized. Queen at h5 probably, and then a pawn at h6 to block off that check. Or is there something better? Maybe just taking that queen, because this queen cannot be taken. That would be mate on h7, the queen in hand. Yeah, so knight takes d5. Now white's surely winning here. So maybe this bishop couldn't be taken. Maybe it had to be, who knows. Bishop at h7 covering off that mating square, and now taking the queen as a threat. Okay, he's attacking this rook. Yeah, I think Atrophied is going to come away here. Black resigns, seeing the inevitable. Alright, 2-3, 2-3. xuanet up. One game now. And we go back into St. George, where we're having a theoretical discussion here, and this hypermodern opening. It's curious to see what xuanet will change here. He goes for this d5 idea again. He got a very playable position out of it last time. See if Atrophied finds a way to change things up, or an improvement on the last line. Bishop at c6 is still good, I feel. Rook e1. He played knight e7 last time, blocking that off. Is he going to change? Pawn at e6, I'm imagining, is a little bit too dangerous because of the rook sack on e6. He's going to play it, though. He didn't want to last time, but he's going to try to shake things up with it now. I'm expecting just a rook sack. Rook takes e6. I don't even know if that can be taken. That is the rook. Wow, isn't that close to mate? Now the queen's going to have to block. But then you're always going to pick this up, yeah. I'm not sure I like this so much, although black's compensation does come in the form of the rook dropping on this back rank, but it's dubious at best, in my opinion, that the c6 move works. Unless there's some sort of crushing tactical combination, which I'm missing here. So if a rook comes on the first rank, that's going to be blocked at bishop f1. I don't think there are any. Bishop takes f3 intermezzos. I don't see much. Rook does come on the first rank. Expecting bishop at f1. No, bishop at e1 because the knight covers that. You wouldn't want to take with the queen because then this queen is on that square as well. So rook takes, knight takes. It's probably not leading to much. This bishop's diagonal will be open with that knight removed from the f3 position, but he's going to be able to do nothing with this bishop in hand. Ah, nice. Okay, so now he can take here, because then if the queen is diverted, it opens up that queen's access to e1, which is dangerous. So instead the knight comes on. Okay, so if takes, the bishop will take and cover the d1 square. Knight takes d6, getting another pawn in hand to place on f7. If the king sidesteps, queen c8 will mate. So, yeah, I think the idea is if this is taken, just add f7, and then you can just take this rook, and if queen takes, yeah, you can just recapture that and be safe at home. Yeah, I'm choosing white here to come away with this point. The immediate threat is just rook at c8 mate. A resignation from Atrophied may not be terribly out of the question. I don't think there's any trickery with queen takes e6, queen takes, and I don't see any. What about? Nah, I don't really see anything for him. The E file was immensely important to control in this game, and xuanet was the one that controlled it. So Atrophied's going to do his best to defend here with the queen in hand, getting some defensive pieces on the light squares around his king, but the dark squares, as xuanet has realized, are awfully weak. Looking at their queen at c7 would have made it there, so knight covers that. Knight's going to take that. And now bishop at e3 or just pawn at b6. I don't see any immediate mate, so I think bishop e3 is fine, or at b6. Or even at a5. I'm just going to develop a knight to bring another defender of this square, so now knight drop on d6, or d5 rather, is a threat. Atrophied realizes that, covers up. But he has 4.4 seconds on his clock, and this is going to be it. Xuanet just has to throw some moves on the board, and Atrophied's going to lose on time. His position is losing as well, I think. Yeah, just bishop e3. And now white has tempo, and the queen is going to come on the board, and mate is going to be soon to follow. And rook at a5 is going to mate. Nicely done from xuanet. That's 4-2 xuanet. 2 points away now from moving into the candidates. Let's see if we go back into these e4, e5 lines. We do. Get the same line as we got last time, and now knight at f5. Is that an improvement? Is that a change? I think that's a change from last game. And it's a strong move, forcing the rook to come to g8 and disallowing black from castling ever. Yeah, so Atrophied's found an improvement, I think, on the way he played this last time. Queen recaptures on e7 with check. This pawn is hanging. And white castles into it. So now knight sacking on g2 is always a possibility. Pawn coming on h3 will put some pressure on white's king as well. Maybe that'll be taken just to get rid of that light square defender. It is. And now bishop e4 stuff is in the air. He does have to watch out for the rook coming to the back rank. He decides that's not such a big threat. Although maybe it is. If rook here, what's white going to block with, or black going to block with? He's just going to block with the knight, but that can be taken, right? That's a little bit dangerous. I guess this bishop does cover the d5 square from a knight drop. So if you can imagine, rook takes on d8, queen takes, king takes, pawn at e7, king takes, and now there are no knight drops. All those squares are covered. And there's no knight drop on the back rank. That's covered by this bishop and this rook in that position as well. Atrophied's trying to figure out a way, some sort of iteration of this line, I think, where you exchange on d8 twice and try to come in, but maybe he just doesn't have quite enough in hand, and xuanet is just about covering everything. Let's see what he's found. Okay, so it brings the rook to d1. Queen at b8 isn't really doing much, so I'll just be blocked off by a rook. Queen comes on to g5. Okay, so with check and also look defending g2, but that's a nice move. Queen at f6, and if that's taken, that's going to open up the rook on this file, and that's going to be deadly. Pawn at e7 perhaps is nothing really, because after takes, same problem as before. All the knight drop squares are covered by black. And now black's going to start his attack. If g takes h, probably just rook at g2 is enough. Or no, you take the queen. Obviously that's mate, so that can't be taken. So if takes, queen takes, and then a queen plays there is going to mate. White tries to add another defender of the g2 square. That's just going to be taken. I think black's going to win this. This looks pretty overwhelming. Although he doesn't have a knight in hand, which would be mate immediately with a knight at h3. The back rank is still a little bit weak, but that can always just be blocked off with a rook at c8. Pawn at e7 is still not a threat. White doesn't have another diagonal piece to place on f6 after the king is dragged out to e7. That cannot be taken. So yeah, xuanet is contending that I have enough time to sack on g2. Even if you don't take that and try to make some sort of attack on my king side, it's not going to be enough. So he's saying he has enough time to sack here before putting on a check or something with tempo. Pawn at e7, that can just be taken. You can probably even just taking is fine. Okay, so knight here probably to defend the c7 square, yes. And now what? So that's a good move. That's important to get rid of this knight in hand, because the knight was going to be the piece which was mating the white king, and now it's been forced to come onto the board defensively. But white has 13 seconds left. A recurring problem in this match is the time management, it seems. Atrophied's managed to drum up some attack, some initiative here. Now xuanet needs, he can't step to the back rank because this will fall. Nicely done from Atrophied to conjure something out of nothing here. King has to step up to d6. Rook comes on. Can that knight be taken? No. Well, let's see. It looks like, yeah, Atrophied's going to be able to find mate here. Very nicely done. Clutch from Atrophied, coming back with 10 seconds on the clock to not quite level the match up, but make it very contentious anyway. 3-4. 3-4. Atrophied's still down one game, but doing well to come back. And what looked to me like a lost position with precise play. That is correct. 4-3 to xuanet thus far. Okay, we're going down the same line again. Doesn't look like Atrophied wants to vary things up, but he's gotten undesirable positions, it seems to me, out of this. Wow, going down the exact same line that he lost in last time. Maybe he was looking at another variation at some crucial point here. He wants to try that out, but again, I don't really see it. I think white's just very good here, doing very well. Okay, so rook takes g8. Knight comes on again. Knight takes, rook takes. I think that's the change in this variation. So what's that queen takes e7 idea? He just wanted to take here with check, I think. So king takes. Huh. Interesting. Black is defending here, I think. Black is actually coming out of this in maybe not good shape, because the king remains a little bit exposed, but white doesn't really have any... well, taking knight here is an idea. He's going to promote to a queen instead of under promoting. Okay. I suppose if under promoting rather to a knight at g8, the king could step back and be quite safe. So xuanet wants to gather material and get another queen on the board. At the same time, there is no mate, I suppose, from black. Knight here. King can step to h1, I think. It's close, but crucially, this knight defends g1. It looks suspicious. So yeah, I was saying this line is a little bit dubious, but it looks like Atrophied is proving me wrong and has some... Wow, that's a curious move. Rook f6. I was going to say he has some life in this position, but that strikes me as a little bit slow. A little bit slow. Ah, that's interesting. I like that. Rook e6. That's not a move I would have thought of. That can be taken, but then this queen. Okay, I was going to say this queen can take because that queen is just a pawn, and then the queen would appear on e5. But instead, and this is probably stronger from xuanet even. That can just be taken. Rook on this square perhaps, or take on e8 twice. Remember, this queen is just a pawn. It's a counterfeit queen. And then now xuanet is looking very nice. If he wants, he can just place bishops on the king side and make sure everything is nice and safe and tidy at home, while making black defend for dear life. I imagine there's got to be a mate here somewhere. Yeah, I'm surprised Atrophied is playing this line again. So where's the mate? Maybe just bishop e3 first, and then a rook on b7. He just has to do everything with check because queen at f1 would mate. But yeah, obviously xuanet is not going to fall for that and finds mate in a few moves. 5-3 to xuanet, I think. 1 point away from clinching his candidate's berth. Alright, we're going back down the same line, and Atrophied actually came away with a win, I think, in the last time from the white pieces in this line. But this time xuanet is the first to change the line. He castles kingside, protecting the g7 spawn with his king, as opposed to playing rook g8. So some pieces coming off the board. G7 is not taken. Now it is. I'm not convinced about black's play here. I think white has a lot of activity, and black looks a little bit exposed to me. White's probably considering castling, getting out of this discovery. No, he's going to say that black has no. Black is king. Oh wow, this is mate, right? King can't step here because this is going to mate. King can't step here because, wow, that's game. He just must have missed this double check discovery on the white king, and that's going to be all she wrote. That's going to do it. Very nicely done from xuanet, with a convincing performance here in the round of 16 to move on to the candidates. All right, good deal. So I'm going to cut off the recording here, but again, well fought from Atrophied. Go through some very interesting variations in there. We saw some St. George's. We saw this highly theoretical e4, e5 discussion, and nice games from him. And now I'll be looking forward to following xuanet in the candidates round, alongside the likes of Jan Lee and All You Need Is Left and some others. No, rather Bugzilla and some others who have already clinched their candidate spots. So it's shaping out to be a very exciting candidates round, guys. And again, I'm going to cut off the recording here and see if I can't catch a little bit of that chicken crossroad against Sexy Match. Catch you later.